Okay, so my name is Melissa Shala. I work for IDRC. I'm the project specialist. I started this year, and I'm the former data entry specialist for Tennessee, and I also did recruiting. I use Excel for reports, creating forms, and previously for CSBR, child counts, auditing, you name it, we did it. And I'm not an expert, but as I said, I'm gonna do my best to try to teach you some tricks that you might not know. And you can see my little pointer that I placed there so we can all see it. So the first tips that we will go over are freezing panes, adding commands to the quick access toolbar, zoom in option, adjust row and column width and length, adding columns and rows, fix alignments, format painter, expand formula bar or wrap text on a cell, clear formats, rename and tabs, undo command, which I love, customize status bar. That's something that I never done, but I think you'll like it. Password protect that we need all the time. Printing is vital for recruiters because I remember, and I wanted always to print one big list in one page. So this presentation, the PowerPoint, I put in the chat how to get to it, and you can follow through because I will go over how to do each item. And here's the how-to for each thing that I will be doing in Excel. So now I'm gonna move on to Excel so we can start with freezing panes. So if you downloaded this file, and I hope everybody can see my Excel sheet. This is a workbook. This is fake data. And we will begin by freezing panes. And I will stop my video too, so it's not so distracting for me. Okay, so if we want to freeze panes, so we have this sheet, and sometimes you get this sheet from your data entry specialist, and it's just like so, or you might have downloaded it from somewhere, and it's like this, and you have a lot of rows, and you can't see the header on the top, and you want to be able to see the header and move down. So that's when you utilize freezing panes. And the way you do this is you go up to the ribbon. This is called the ribbon. These are tabs. And we will go to view. And over here is freeze panes. So if you click freeze panes and you select freeze top row, it will freeze your top row. Now let's test it. So if you scroll down, now you can see the rest of the rows without having to go up and down. So that's one option. The other options to freeze panes will be to freeze columns and rows. So for this example, let's say I want to see the first row and these three columns. So I have to position my pointer in this cell, D2. And I forgot to tell you, this is where you see the name of, this is the name box. This is where you know what cell you're at. So if you go here, that's J11. So you can always look at there and see which cell you're in. So let's say you wanted to freeze that row and those columns. So we have to go back to view, and you have to unfreeze the panes that you froze before. So let's unfreeze. And now let's freeze panes is the first option. Keep rows and columns visible while the rest of the worksheet scrolls. So let's click on that. And now let's test if this is working. So let's scroll down. That works. And if we move right, that works. So you're staying there. You can see your 3 columns and your first row is static. So that's wonderful. That works. Now, let's move on to adding commands to the quick access toolbar. So let's go back home. So we established that this is a ribbon. These are tabs. This up here is called the quick access toolbar. And you can add more tools here. So let's try to do that. So if we right click in the toolbar and you go to customize quick access toolbar. Let's do that. Now we get a big window. This is actually the Excel options. So here you have the commands on the right that are already on your quick access toolbar. And these on the left are the ones that you can add to your quick access toolbar. So we were using freezing panes. So let's add that to the quick access toolbar. So if you don't want to scroll down, you can go to the actual tab that contains the freeze panes tool. So if we go to the view tab, if you look here, the second one is freeze panes. So I'm going to add it here. Add. Now you click OK. And boom, it's right there on the top. So if you were here and you wanted to unfreeze, you can unfreeze your panes. You can freeze them again. You can do anything here, and you don't have to go to the tab to do this task because you may forget where it is. And this is easier, I think. This quick access toolbar is very useful. You can even, if you, for example, wanted this, let's see, let's go to view, review, the spelling. So you right click and you add to the quick access toolbar. So now if you wanted to spell check, you just click here and you're done. You don't have to go look for it. You can add as many as you would like here. Now let me show you a little more information, because for this, you can add a group to the quick access toolbar. So if we try to add this group for the font to the quick access toolbar, you can add to the ribbon, back to the quick access toolbar, and it's here. When you click on it, you will see all these options and they pop up. So you can do that, and you can remove them just by right clicking again, you can remove them. You can also do something else. Let me right click and go to customize quick access toolbar. If, for example, you have too many up here and you want a separator in between them, you can add a separator. For example, here you can move up on the right side. It's got a move up arrow. You can add that separator in between align center and a freeze pane. So let's try that. Okay, so on the top left, you see there's a separator. All right, so let's move on. Actually, I wanted to show you another one that I always put here that I removed just to show you how to add it. One of the things that I really like to do is add under the File tab. I like to add the Save As option to my Quick Access toolbar, and I'll show you why. When you go here, you can just save immediately. You don't have to go to File, Save As. You don't have to do that. You just click here and you're done. And let me check the questions. Will that carry over to other Excel sheets, or do you have to add? No, that carries over. You just put it on your Excel and it's gonna carry over. Any sheet that you open, you will have your quick access toolbar options there. Okay, I think that's the only question. So let me move on. So let's talk about zoom in. Zoom in, I use all the time. It's on the bottom right. You might already know that it's here. It's right here. You can make it bigger with the plus sign, or with the negative sign, you can make it smaller, or you can double click where it says the percentage and you can select the percentage that you want to see it. So there you go. So let's make it a little bigger. And I hope you guys can see it okay. I'm gonna make it a little bigger just so it's big. So that's how you use the zoom feature. Now to adjust row and column width and length. That, for example, we have this QAD that you can't see, you just see the hashtags because the column is too small, too narrow. So to make it bigger, you have to point your mouse into when you see the two-sided arrows and double click real quick. And it resizes to fit everything that you have there. So for example, here in the address, I'll do the same. And there you go. Now it has the addresses and you can see all the addresses. If this address was super long, it will make the column large, very wide. Okay. There's another way to do this, to make them bigger, and it will be under the cells grouping right here. I'm sure you can see my pointer. Under format, you can actually determine the height or the width of the rows. So if you don't want to double click, you can always come here and determine exactly how big you want these. So that's another option. Now I'm gonna move on to adding columns and rows. So for example, you want to add a column right next to the date of birth. You would point and select column E, right click and click insert. So now you have an extra column. If you wanted more columns, you wanted 3, you select 3 columns, insert, and then you have 3 more. If you want to add a row, you select a row, right click, insert, and then you have a row above that row that you had selected. Now, I want to show you this very cool feature. It's called Format Painter, and if you never used it, I think you'll start using it all the time now. So let's say that this last name is highlighted, it's in red, and it's italicized. And so you want this to be the same way for different cells. So let me select this one, and the Format Painter is over here under the clipboard, and is this little brush. Select the brush once, and then click on the cell that you want it to be formatted as so. So click here, and now this is highlighted with the same format as this other cell. Now let me undo that. What if you wanted to do different, several cells within the sheet? Well, you have it selected and you see the marching ants going, so it's selected. Now you double click the brush. Now it's static. So if I click here on F 6. Oh, sorry, it didn't do it. Let me try again. So double click. Yeah, okay, this worked. So now I selected that one. Let me make it bigger. And this one and this one. So all of these will be formatted as this the cadena format. So this is useful too. And you can even do rows or columns. So if you wanted this format on the whole sheet, well, not the whole sheet, but you know, you get the point. All right, so let me undo that. And to get out of it, you just click escape. I'm looking at the comments, that's great. So if you didn't know about it, this is really cool. I use it all the time. Now let's talk about the formula bar and how to expand it. So the formula bar is up here. This is the formula bar where it says cadena right here on the top. This is called a formula bar. So let's see, this this child, well, not, it's in 12, not so much a child, but still consider a child. He has some notes right here. And you can see in the formula bar that it cuts off right here on the right side. So to expand this, you go to the arrow down and click there, and now you can read the entire sentence. So you can do that instead of scrolling all the way to the right to see where this ends. You can just read it here on the formula bar. If it was larger than this, you can always drag this down and make it bigger so you can read it. So that's another option. I'm gonna move it back and actually make it smaller. And let me freeze this like we had it before. So see, we go here, unfreeze, freeze panes. Okay. So now let's talk about in the same cell. Let's talk about wrap text. That's the next item we have. So to wrap text, you can go to the ribbon, and this is the option, wrap text. And you can just click on it. And if we go to the right, let's look at it and see how it looks like. So now it's not bleeding over to the right cell, is within its own cell. If you wanted to actually see the entire contents of this cell, you can go into the actual row here and drag down your row, or you can double click and it will make it to fit. So you could do that to all of them or just this one. I usually don't do that because it could be a lot of comments and then it scrolls, it's gonna be down here and then the next row it gets lost. So if I want to read the comments, I can just open this, but either way, those are your options. And also with the wrap text, guess what? I'm gonna add it, right click to my ribbon. I'm sorry, add to quick access toolbar. So now if I need the wrap text, I can just go up here, even though it's on the home tab, but what if I'm on the formula bar and I want to wrap text? I could just go and click up here. So that's the wrap text. I hope I'm not going too fast. If I am, let me know. Okay. Now, let's talk about clearing formats. And for that, I created another sheet down here. If you have the file, clear formats. And now this is crazy. If you get a file like this and there's highlighted items and different colors and everything, and you're like, I don't even know why these are highlighted. So let's just clear all of that. So to do that, you go to the home tab, go to the editing group on the right, you go to clear, And you don't want to clear all because that would delete everything. You want to clear the formats. So click clear formats. Oh, I'm sorry. First, you need to select the entire sheet. So to select the entire sheet, you go to the top corner, select all, then let's go back to clear formats. And now it's gonna delete all or clear all the formats, which is great. Let me just verify that I'm recording. Yes, I'm recording. Okay. All right, so this is very good. And now you can format it as you want it. It's you can see it better, and that should help. Now let's talk about renaming the sheets. I think in the PowerPoint I said tabs, but they're called sheets. So these are sheets. All of these are sheets. And so this one, for example, you wanted to just call it clear. You double click the sheet and type clear, enter. So you can rename all of your sheets. Now, let's talk about the undo command. That's one that I used. Most of everybody uses it. And for example, you have this date serve and you delete it by mistake and you notice. So you go to the top and go to this little arrow. And this is the undo command, and click it. And it comes back. There's also a shortcut on your keyboard that is Control, let me delete it, Control Z, and it will bring it back. So, or now that you undid something, you can redo it. You can delete it or you can go back if you look at the top left. So you can delete it, you could go back. So those are good options to remember. So if you delete something by mistake. Also, another thing that I didn't mention before, but if anything you do on a worksheet and you don't save, well, it's not gonna be saved. So if you know you made a major mistake and you can't figure out what happened, you can always close your worksheet and not save. And so you open it up again, and then everything should be as it was before you made any changes. So that's always an option too. Now let's talk about customizing the status bar. So the status bar is on the bottom. Over here on the bottom, this is your status bar. We have ready, number lock, and then nothing here. Well, keep looking at the status bar to see what happens when I select this column G. It looks like it's giving me an average, a count, and a sum. So if you right click here, you can select what you want to see. For example, if you don't want to see the sum, you can unclick, go back, and you won't see the sum. I like to see the count because if I have to check how many children there is, you could just select this instead of scrolling down to see how many. You can see there's 24 minus the header, so we have 23 children. So the count is very helpful, especially when you have a large sheet. So, or if you wanted the sum of something, but I think the count could help us a lot, all of us. That's always helpful. And there's many options. You can select or unselect, like caps lock. So that's an option. Now let's move on to something that we want to do for MEP all the time, which is password protect a document. So to password protect a document, what you would like to do is go to the File tab, go to Info, Protect Workbook, Encrypt with password. Then you type a password once, twice, and there you go. Your sheet is protected. Now, when you save, it's gonna be protected and nobody can open it unless they have the password. So if you're sending this through email, I suppose, though I don't think you're supposed to, or you're putting it on Dropbox, you can do that and send it protected, and just give them the password and they should be able to open it. Just don't forget the password, because then you won't be able to reopen it. So that's how you protect a password, sheet. Any questions so far? I can stop for a bit. If anybody has questions, you can unmute yourself and let me know.
Hi.
Oh, the count? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. Back when you were doing the count, where were you seeing the number count?
Okay, so on the bottom right.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yes, it's very small, but it's right there. And if you don't see it, it's because you don't have it selected. So you right click and you select count right here.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. All right. So now let's move on to printing. So that's one of the things that we all want to do. And usually you need to do a little bit of editing to make it so you can print it in one sheet. And this is usually as big as I would think that you need a sheet to be. You could have more columns, but then your font is gonna be very, very small. So just keep that in mind. So for this sheet, let's check the layout first. The layout, the orientation is portrait. And I don't think I want it as portrait because it's very wide. So let's change this to landscape. Okay. And now let's go to File, Print. And you can see a preview of what we'll be printing. And this is not what we want. This is broken down into 6 pages, and that's not what you want. Okay, so let's fix this. So here, if you're following the PowerPoint, you have to go down here to no scaling. Click there. Now you select fit all columns in one page. So now you see all columns in one page. Now let's check the next page. Yes, the next page is only 2 pages. So this is great. However, you might notice a problem here. You don't have your header and you don't have page numbers. So I think we need to fix that. Let's go back. So click the arrow left. Now, to fix this, you're gonna go to, when we're already there in the page layout, and you're gonna go down here and go to the command called print titles. Click there. Okay, so now you get this window. Now, this is what we want. The print titles, rows to repeat at top. And to do this, you are going to go to this arrow up, click once, and now this becomes really small. Now let's select this row with the header, select it, and then you see the marching ants. That means that's selected. So we're good with that. So now let's go back, click the arrow down in blue. And now it opens that window again. So now we have our information here that we need. Now let's go to header and footer to take care of the page numbers. So let's go down here and you can put the page number on the header or on the footer. I'm gonna put it on the footer. Now let's click here. And now you have several options. It could be on the left, on the center, on the right. I'm old school, let's do it on the right. And what do I want? You could type something up. You could type in MEP list. You can type anything, but what I want is the insert page number. And you might not be able to see it because my highlighted pointer is big, but it says insert page number. It's the second option. Click there. And now you see it here, add page. So this will add the page. So let's click OK. Let's click OK again. And now let's test this. Let's go to File, Print. And let me scroll down. Looks like I have a page number 1 here. It's kind of small, but it's there. And now let's go to page 2. Great. I have my header and my page number too. So we have headers, and if these were 30 pages, each one would have the header and the page number. So you can do this every time and you'll have a great list. And you can even put a header here on your header options and say MEP list, May 24, 2022. So you can do anything. Excel is great. There's just so many options. So that is the walkthrough for the printing. I didn't put it on the PowerPoint, but we're gonna talk about page breaks because this is something that can be useful too.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
How do you keep the headers highlighted black like that?
Oh, this is just because I formatted it, the header, but let me show you how to do it because I didn't go through that. But so over here, if I select the row, let me go to home and I'm gonna fill it with black.
Oh, so it's filled in with the black. Okay.
Yes, and then the letters, it will be white.
Oh, okay.
And there you go. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so now I have another question here. Is there a way to keep the lines in between all of the rows? I don't know that I understand the question. To keep the lines in between all of the rows. Oh, to print the lines? Yes. And this would be, you mean like this? Let me go to print. Like this. Hopefully, this is what we're talking about.
Yes, that is.
Yes, okay, great. Yes, so that's an option. And that's very useful too. That way you have like a way to write straight if you're gonna write on the paper. Okay, so let me see, are all these options on a Mac too or just Windows? I am sorry, I don't know if Mac has these options. I would assume that they do. I will have to do some research on that if you want to email me. I will put on my information here just so you guys have it. You can always email me. I'll do research because that's what we're here for, to help you out. But I'm using Windows. I'm using a PC. So let me talk about page breaks. And these were a little intimidating for me. The way to see the page breaks, there are several options, but the easiest way will be to go to the bottom, the status bar here. And the third option here is page breaks. So if we click on here, you see the page breaks. So it's wanting to have this page 1 here, then page 2 here, 3 and 4. So that's no help. That's useless for me. So let's move this over. You have the ability to move this bar that Windows automatically put there, drag it to the right. So there you go. You have it all the way to the right. Now I have another page break here, but I don't want it there. Maybe I wanted to, and let me make this bigger because I know it's tiny. So maybe you want the second page to start with Lorenzo Alonso. So let's move this up. And the second page will start there or even higher. You have the ability to determine where you want your page to stop. So this is something that you'll probably maybe use at some point. All right, so let's talk about shortcuts. And let me go back to the PowerPoint. Looks like we went through this already. Now let's talk about your keyboard. This is how your keyboard usually looks like if you have a keyboard that has the numbers on the right. But I would suggest that you get familiar with your keyboard and the functions and Control Alt, the home key that's on the, it's like the fourth option right there on the top in green, the home and the end key. All of these terms I'm gonna use here in a minute. So if we talk about the space bar as the bottom blue, purple, the control, very important if you don't usually use control, the escape key on the top left, all of these, if you need to refer back, you can always print this presentation and keep that on hand if your keyboard looks like this. And so when I refer to selecting control plus a letter, that's what I mean is just pressing the control key and the letter, not the sign, not the plus sign. So you just select that like the little girl is doing it, and you should be good. So now let's do that. So these are some shortcuts that I provided you with that I love. We have the copy, paste, new workbook, save, all of these you can do with a shortcut on the keyboard. So you don't always have to go to your mouse and do this with your mouse. You can do this and really quickly just move with your keyboard. You can just do pretty much anything with your keyboard. So let's try to do that. Let's go to Excel one more time. So let's go over, and you might want to try it if you have your Excel sheet open. And let me just check on your comments to see if there's anything. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm not an expert. So if we go to, and you might want to try this. So press the control key and at the same time, press the C key. And then you go somewhere that's empty and you press again the control V and it pastes that you just copy. In the same way, you could do control X and you cut it and you paste it somewhere else. New workbook, I use it a lot. And this is cool because you could just do control N and boom, you got a new workbook. You don't have to go file, open, new. So that's something that I use a lot. For saving, you just go to control S and it's saved. For undo, I already mentioned that, it's Control Z. And it will undo what you did last. Another shortcut that I use a lot is the delete. And for example, I want to delete the state column. So you select the column and then you go to Control minus and it will delete it. So you don't have to go to right click, delete, you would just do it with your keyboard. So that's an option. So all of those are great. For example, you wanted to edit a cell. So you would go into the cell, press F2, and you can start moving or deleting anything you wanted to do here instead of double clicking. Because for example, for this, it probably want to take you to that link. You know, you can't double click. So if you move over and select or press the F2 key, then you can start editing this cell. Another feature that I use a lot is the home feature. So let's say this sheet has 160 rows and you're down here typing away and you want to go home, you want to go to cell 1 and you don't want to scroll all the way up and to the left. So you go to and press Control Home and boom, you're back to A1. So all you do is Control Home, the actual key that's called Home, and there you go. And also, if you want to go to the end, you click the Control End, and there you go. You're at the end of your sheet that I just typed. So let me go home, and I'm back. I don't have to scroll down. I don't have to do any of that. So that's wonderful. Let me check on your questions. Another favorite shortcut is Control plus. Okay, great to know. Can you help me with a Mac? I'm doing counts on the bottom of the page. I will copy your question now and help you out, Gloria. I can't do it right now, but I will make a note to help you with that. And hopefully in the next training we have, I'll make sure to let you know which options are for Macs or which commands are for Mac. I think you were talking to Ray, but I will try to figure out too for other recruiters. Okay, so the shortcuts, like I said, I think you might like them. I know I love them. Also the tab. The tab is really helpful because it moves over. Instead of clicking and clicking and clicking, you can just tab over. All right, so let's move on to finding and removing duplicates. And let me show this. Finding and removing duplicates. So we are going to do this on our worksheet. But I just wanted to show you that there's the instructions here on the PowerPoint. This is how you do it. So let's go to Excel. So let's say you want to delete all the duplicate dates, the QID duplicate dates. I don't know why you would do that, but we're just saying things. So let's remove duplicates and we'll find them first. So to do this, you go to the Home tab, to the ribbon, go to the right, you go to Conditional Formatting, and then highlight cells, and then you go to Duplicate Values. And it asks you what color do you want them? So it could be in yellow. So let's put yellow. Okay, so now we see that we have 2 duplicate dates. So what if you wanted to delete those rows that have duplicates? So you have to select, to remove the duplicates, you need to select your entire sheet. So you go to the left, on the corner left, select that. Then you go to the data tab over here on the top. And then you go to remove duplicates over here. And you look at the information you have here. It says my data has headers. If it doesn't have it selected, select it. If you have headers, then I want to unselect all. And I want to tell it where my duplicates are. And that will be on the QAD. So I want to delete the duplicates that there are under the QAD. So let's click OK. And now it says that it removed 136 duplicate values found and removed. 23 unique values remain. So there you go. That's how you delete duplicates. And somebody's saying that so useful to find duplicate phone numbers, which will be a quick way to find students in the same household. Correct, that's correct. Or if they have the same COE number, you can highlight it. You can find the duplicates and just group them together. Okay, so now I wanted to show you. Let's go back to our PowerPoint. And I wanted to go over these features, these formulas. These are very easy formulas that you might want to use, because I know they'll be useful for me if I didn't have the information, and this is a quick way to do it. This is for calculating the age. This formula calculates the, yes?
Is it possible for you to go back over the removing the duplicates, please?
Oh, you want me to go over to the removing? You want me to do it again?
Yes, please.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
So if you, let's do this again. Let's go to this one. So let's see which one has duplicates, the QAD. The QAD. Okay, so we select the entire sheet. Then we go to data, we're already there. Remove duplicates. And then over here, you unselect all. And then you select the column that has your duplicates. So for this one, it was QAD. And then you click OK. And this one had 7 duplicates. And it kept 23 unique values in there. That's how you delete duplicates. Did that help? I hope it did. Okay, somebody is writing on my, let me see what's going on here. Okay, so I don't know how you guys are able to write on the screen, but let me, and I'm almost done. I guess I'm going kind of slow. I thought I had more time, but let's do the formula real quick. So let's say that I want to know how old these children are, and the sheet that I got didn't have the information. So let's add a column. So insert right here, and this is gonna be the age. So for that, as I show, there's a formula, and the formula is you start typing the equal value, and then that's a formula. Every time you click equal, and you start typing equal, it's gonna be a formula. So we have year, and then parentheses, now, open parentheses, close parentheses, another parentheses, minus the year. And then where the data, the open parentheses, and then select the date of birth. And then close your parentheses once, twice, and then enter. I'm sorry. Okay, so this doesn't seem like it's correct, right? And this is because this column is not formatted correctly. So let's right click and go to format cells. And what I want is this number to be general. And this is gonna be the age. So click H, okay, and you'll see the age. So this formula will tell you the age of the child if you type it in here. So like I said, that formula is in the handout. And if you wanted to see all of the ages here, you can copy this formula, not by hand, but by double clicking here on the right of the cell. And it just does magic. It just starts, it copies for every row the formula and tells you the age for all these children. So
Wait,
if,
sorry, did you just double click? Where did you?
right, right here on the cross, on the black cross,
Yeah.
you double click and then it just fills the, but if it had like 1,000 rows, it will go all the way down.
Oh, wow. I'm with
Yes.
Gloria. I didn't know that.
Hi, Gloria. Yes, this is very cool. Yes, so the formula is there. And if, don't freak out if you see a date like you saw before, it's because you need to format the actual cell to show just a general number. And then it will show, if not, it'll be a date like it was before. That doesn't work. So you have to format the cell, do general, and then you're done. And you can do that every time. So this is one of the formulas. The other formula that I wanted to share with you is to calculate the expiration date, for example, for the qualifying arrival date. Though it's pretty easy, but if we see it already there, I think it's good. So I'm gonna insert a column and I'm gonna put expiration. Now I'm gonna type a new formula starting with the equal sign. And I'm gonna use the formula that is to actually check a date. This formula returns, that represents the date that is indicated in the number of months before or after a specific date. So let's do this, E date. And then we're gonna select where the date is, then a comma, in 36 months, close the parentheses, and that's your date. Now let's do this again and double click on the plus, and it will fill out the entire sheet. So all your expiration dates will be here. So there's a lot of formulas that are very helpful in Excel. This is one of them. And the date is also really good. And you can always go to help on the top. And they're very helpful for if you open it and you say calculate age. They're gonna help you out on how to calculate an age. It asks you what you want to see. So don't be afraid. This is exactly the formula that I used. So I just searched how to calculate age, and here you go. They give you the formula. So if you wanted to do something else, just try finding it here. You don't even have to go to Google. You can try here first and read through this. They have so much information, you'll be blown away. And so that, believe think concludes my presentation. Let me go back here. And I'm open for questions if you have any questions. I hope this was helpful. I'm sorry, it was my first presentation ever, so trying to do my best.
Melissa,
Yes,
you did an excellent job.
thank you.
Somebody's asking you if we can receive this video, a copy from your video in our
Yes.
emails.
Yes, I'm recording it now. So after it's recorded, I believe Jessica will put it on our website. And like I said, if you have questions, you can always call me or email me. And I'm trying to see if there's any other questions. Can we have a promise that we'll do an Excel training too at a later? Hey, I have another training session tomorrow for advanced Excel, and that's tomorrow. So yes, I promise. Si Dios quiere, like my grandma says, I will be here tomorrow. And yes, if you have any questions, you can unmute, let me know. But I don't think there are. Yeah, I don't see any more questions. Thank you, guys. This was great. Great. So, okay. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you so much, Lourdes. And if we don't have any other questions or comments, I think I will stop the recording. And if you want to ask me something off the record, we can do that. Let me stop the recording.